of the information, Gage Grosskreutz, we the jury find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty.
A jury on Friday found Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty on all charges in the shootings of 3 men in Kenosha, Wisconsin, including 2 who were killed.
As to the third count of the information, unknown male, we the jury find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty.
Now, Hollywood is reacting to the verdict on social media, including shameless actress Emmy Rossum, who tweeted, "This is a devastating blow." LeVar Burton says, "Tell me again there are not 2 kinds of justice in America." Andy Cohen didn't mince words, simply asking, "What in the actual f***?" As for comedian Kathy Griffin, she summed up her thoughts by writing, "People suck."
Tommy D,
the
what's
jury
up, Tommy
who
D?
acquitted the 18-year-old had been deliberating since Tuesday morning and heard
Good
from more
morning.
than 30 witnesses during 2 weeks of testimony. The case focused on whether Rittenhouse was acting in self-defense when he shot and killed 2 men and wounded a third during a night of protests and civil unrest in 2020. Filmmaker Ava DuVernay shared a message for the parents of Anthony Huber, one of the men who was killed, writing, quote, "The verdict sends the unacceptable message that armed civilians can show up in any town, incite violence, and then use the danger they have created to justify shooting people in the street." Real Housewives of Potomac star and political commentator Wendy Osefo echoed that sentiment, tweeting, "And this is exactly what we mean when we say we live in 2 Americas. The system only works for the people it was built for. This is nothing new, just another confirmation." Anna Navarro, a pundit who's a frequent contributor on The View, shared a reminder of the inequalities in past shooting cases involving white and black men. While actress Yvette Nicole Brown used sarcasm to get her point across. The good news is that white men and boys can still kill whoever they want and do no jail time. Isn't that fun? On the flip side, there were some right-wing political figures who voiced their support of the verdict, including political commentator Candace Owens, who tweeted, "Justice wins the day." And former mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani. He praised the jurors for their, quote, "courage to overcome the intimidation of the mob outside the courthouse, the mainstream media lying about the case, and Biden's obstructive remarks."
And David, if you're the family of the dead victims here, what's your next? Do you have another place to go? What does Mr. Huber's and Mr. Rosenbaum's family go? Do they go to a civil suit? Is it against the city? Is it against Mr. Rittenhouse? What do they have another avenue here for justice in their minds?
Now, Chuck, I think the way I need to answer that question is to tell you what I would tell them if they walked into my office. If they walked into my office, I would tell them no. Is it possible that you can find a lawyer to file a civil suit against Kyle Rittenhouse? Sure it is. I don't think that would be an effective lawsuit. I think it would just lead to more frustration. This goes back to something you stressed earlier when I was first joining, and that is it does represent a failure on the part of the prosecution. And I don't like to say negative things about other lawyers unless I have to. But here, as a former special crimes prosecutor, you've got laws to ensure certain protections and rights for the victims of violent crimes, and that extends to family members. If they feel dissatisfied with the prosecution, part of what you ultimately have to look at is the fact that those prosecutors did not reassure them that they were going to do their best to make sure justice was served. And that doesn't mean you get a guilty verdict. That just means that you help the family understand that you did everything you could in the courtroom, because that's the only way that people can get closure under circumstances like this.
I want y'all to hear something real quick.
Joseph Rosenbaum, sex offender criminal complaint from Arizona. Newly released documents obtained by Wisconsin right now from the Pima County Clerk of Courts confirm Joseph Rosenbaum was charged by a grand jury with 11 counts of child molestation and inappropriate sexual activity around children, including anal rape. The victims were 5 boys ranging in age from 9 to 11 years old. Wisconsin right now has obtained Rosenbaum's entire file regarding the case. However, due to victim privacy and legal issues, we are choosing to only show the criminal complaint at this time. We redacted the names of the victims. No contact with minors under the age of 18 without permission from the court, the Arizona court records say. These are the offenses that landed Rosenbaum, 36, on the Wisconsin Sex Offender Registry. Rosenbaum is the man who, video shows, chased Kyle Rittenhouse, 17, before Rittenhouse shot him to death in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Rittenhouse is charged with homicide in the deaths of Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber. He's also criminally charged in the shooting injury to Gage Grosskreutz. Rittenhouse's lawyers maintain that the Illinois teenager's actions were self-defense. They say he was attacked by a vicious mob that included Rosenbaum. Because of the self-defense accusations, Wisconsin right now has made the decision to tell readers about the criminal histories of the men who were shot. All 3 have criminal histories. Rosenbaum's is arguably the most relevant because video and eyewitnesses show he was the instigator that night. He was seen acting aggressively and using a racial slur in a gas station parking lot and pushing a burning dumpster. The criminal complaint against Rittenhouse says Rosenbaum threw a plastic bag and tried to grab the teenager's gun. What was Rosenbaum's criminal history? He had an open Wisconsin case for misdemeanor bail jumping that was filed on July 30, 2020. Rosenbaum also had open misdemeanor cases for battery and disorderly conduct. He was on the Wisconsin Sex Offender Registry for an Arizona offense. That's the child molestation case. According to online court records, Rosenbaum was sentenced to 10 years on December 12, 2002 for sexual contact of a minor, then again sentenced to 2 years, 6 months for sexual contact of a minor related to the same 2002 incident.
Y'all bear with me, I got a sore throat. I'm gonna get to this before I get to this part right here. Okay, first of all, the hero versus the sex offender. Okay. Regardless of whoever is on the hero side, whoever's on the hero side versus the sex offender, I'm always going to choose the hero. Regardless of who's on that side, whether they're black, white, Hispanic, Oriental, tall, short, fat, skinny, I'm always going to pick the person on the left side. Let's just get that out the way right now. But this is not about the sex offender. It wasn't the hero versus the sex offender for me. It was about 2 human beings and right and wrong. I stand firmly on my belief that teenagers are not mentally qualified or trained to possess semi-automatic weapons or to possess weapons because they do not know how to control themselves. It's some adults that don't know how to control themselves, but especially Kyle Rittenhouse. To all the victims of the Joseph guy or whatever case may be, my heart goes out to them and I wish them the best. But the conversation I'm hearing now, it's either you support Kyle Rittenhouse or you love pedophilia. Like, I don't know who made that narrative up, but I want to make sure that I'm clear. All right? This conversation is not a game for me. Okay? This conversation is not just a chance for clicks and views and clout chasing. This is a conversation, and what makes it tough, because I heard people saying, well, you know, if it's a white man killing white men, why do black people care? Well, here's the thought process. I thought we wasn't talking about racism. I thought we didn't care about racism. So my thought process is, if there's a human being killing another human being, should us as human beings not care? And I'm listening to a lot of people talking and I'm scratching my head because I'm just like, How are you going to say, well, black people, y'all shouldn't worry about it because that's a white man killing another white man? But that's a human being killing a human being. So I only should worry about it if it's people with the same skin tone or same race as me. I shouldn't. When I went to Iraq, when soldiers was falling to my left and right, I only should be worried about the soldiers that have dark skin, that are black, not the white soldiers, not the Oriental soldiers, not the Hispanic soldiers, not the females. I only should care about people who are like me. That is the most idiotic shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. Why do you care if you're black, if it's white people killing each other? When my thought process, I thought as human beings, I thought as productive citizens, I thought as responsible adults, I thought as taxpayers, we should care what goes on in these communities. We shouldn't want to see harm come to anyone. That to me is the conversation. For me, that's the conversation. Now I heard someone say something about as I did my videos, they sent me some links. I had a couple links get sent to me. Excuse me. And I saw a couple videos. Shout out to Ricky Manor. Ricky Manor is a diehard Kyle Rittenhouse supporter. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother. I salute him. I respect his opinion, his narrative, what he thinks. But we stand on two different sides of the fence on this conversation. I believe me and Kwame Brown, shout out to Kwame Brown, we stand on two different sides of the fence. Some of the things that's being said, me personally, I want to speak for myself and for those like me, okay, as a veteran of the United States military, okay, all right, as a father, as a taxpayer, as a human being, as a grown man, as a responsible adult, I don't respect, promote, or applaud anyone who does acts of violence against children, period. Zero tolerance. The conversation for me was, should a teenager be going down as a peace officer, heavily armed and dangerous and not trained? I don't know what military veteran, active duty, or reservist would say that's what we should have our untrained teenagers doing. They should have a weapon in their hand trying to handle a mob. They should put themselves in harm's way to where now they're forced to have to make a life or death decision. I don't know no veterans that do that. I don't know no responsible adults, no first responders that say, yes, give this untrained teenager a weapon and let he or she go into a mob of people and try to control the mob. I don't know nobody that agree with that. Now, this is what I agree with before I get to Kwame Brown's video. I agree that Kyle Rittenhouse, though he left his home and no one asked him to, though he may have had good intentions of leaving his home, for a fact, the weapon that he had in his possession did not belong to him, nor could he legally have that firearm. Could he legally possess that firearm? That to me is what's in question. We're not talking about the self-defense. Here's the situation. Situation is that he didn't find that firearm laying on the ground and a mob was coming on to him. If that was the case, hey, he grabbed a weapon and he started shooting back. Got it. Self-defense all day. But he put himself in that situation. Now, however whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it, the fact of the matter is, I get the whole patriotic act. Hey, I want to make sure my community is safe. I want to make sure that people are not taking advantage of people's property. I want to do something about it. I feel drawn to do something about it, and I get that. But going down there armed as an untrained teenager was not what was supposed to happen, or what should have not been done. And it's so funny that we hold everybody else responsible except the adults around Kyle. Didn't hear the judge mention it. Didn't hear the prosecution. I didn't hear the defense attorney. No one said that the adults around Kyle was illogical, irrational. irresponsible. And it's funny to me how people say, let's not turn this into a race thing. But then you, on the other hand, you say it's not about the race thing because, you know, they're trying to bait us. The media is trying to bait us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then you say, well, we shouldn't care as black people because white people are killing each other. Why are black people upset at this trial? Well, the thought process is simple, and I want you guys to hear me out. I want you to hear me out. Regardless of the color of the teenager, do you want your teenager grabbing a weapon and heading into a mob of people to police them up? Regardless of the color. I would think not. I haven't met an adult yet with a teenage son or daughter that says, hey, grab this automatic weapon and I want you to go down there and I want you to police them up. Regardless if it's Black Lives Matter, the KKK, skinheads, Nazis, regardless. I want my teenager to go get involved. I read a lot of comments, which is interesting to me because what we want to do is say, hey, it's self-defense, case closed. It's self-defense of a person who deliberately put their self in harm's way. It's self-defense of a person who possessed a firearm that couldn't legally buy or have in their possession. That to me shouldn't be ignored. I don't care what color you are. And the fact that we have black men and women talking about, well, why should we care if white people killing white people? Well, that's the wrong idea. That's the wrong type of attitude. Because they're human beings. The same way we should care about if someone does something wrong, violates someone else. Can you imagine me driving past, oh, that's two white people fighting. That's a white person that's stranded on the side of the road. You are promoting racism without clearly saying that you're a racist. I couldn't imagine any of my soldiers telling me that they're not going to help another soldier in downrange or anything else because, well, that's not my business because I ain't black. That's not my business because I ain't white. But you American, right? It's funny to me when we want to promote America, when we want to say it's all about the red, white, and blue. It's all about being a patriot. It's all about all of these things, except when it comes down to actually showcasing, it's about something positive. It's about something meaningful. In order for me to care about people, they have to look like me. Let's get into this. Let's get into this video.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I had to comfort someone before I went live. It was a real situation, so I had to deal with it.
With all due respect, so he says, so basically, since he made a terrible decision to go there, he should have just let them kill him. Who said that? I want you guys to think about something. Was it wrong that he left his house? Yes. Was it wrong that he possessed a firearm that he couldn't legally own or carry? Yes. Those things are wrong. Those things are bad. I don't care what color you are. But if people are attacking him, then he has the right to defend himself. That is not a question. There's no smidgen of doubt. He has the right to defend himself. The question is, if you possessed an illegal firearm, or a firearm that was not yours, but you was carrying it around in the streets, the question is, one, why wasn't you stopped? Why didn't someone ask you, Do you have a permit for that? Hey, let me see some identification. I don't understand how. It's the actions leading up to the incident. All the police officers that are around, nobody stopped this guy. Nobody said, hey, let me see some ID. Let me see a permit. They could have prevented it before it happened. You're 17 years old, walking around with a semi-automatic gun, right? Or rifle, whatever the case may be. You're telling me that a police officer would have said, oh yeah, carry on. It's all good. What about the men that came down there with them? Hey, we got on body armor. We got on bulletproof vests. We got handguns. We got rifles. You mean to tell me they thought that he was in his right mind? That he should have been down there? No one's questioning self-defense. If someone is trying to harm you, you have every right to defend yourself. Let's get off of that. There's two things that I want to address. For those of you that are ignoring the fact that he left his damn house. No one sent for him. He left his house because he wanted to be a part of something else. Something bigger, something greater than him. He wanted to join a militia. It's funny to me because you got to understand that there are people that live in urban communities that get in trouble for not shooting nobody but carrying a handgun. So you got to understand, as an American, as a veteran, as a tax-paying citizen, I'm looking at this situation like, well, if you're going to let him go scot-free and say it was self-defense, okay, cool. He still used a weapon that he wasn't supposed to have. There's still evidence showcasing that he had a weapon that he wasn't supposed to have. I want you guys to look up Chicago, New York, and California. We'll start with those three. How many people are getting jail time for weapon possession, but never fired the weapon? Weapons that they're not supposed to have in their possession, but they have it for protection. What's the difference? What's stopping the next teenager from saying, well, I see a riot. I see the KKK or Black Lives Matter or whatever the case may be, and they're burning buildings and breaking glass or whatever. So I'm going to take it upon myself to go down there and police some stuff up. I ain't going to let the police handle it. Hell, I ain't going to let the fire department handle it. I ain't going to let the feds handle it. Me and my friends, me and my other high school friends are going to go down there and we're going to do some policing up. What message does that send to America? And doesn't matter where you at. Doesn't matter what state you're in. It's interesting to me how we ignore, but now this matters. We ignore all the facts, but we get to the part where it's self-defense. Nobody's in disagreement saying he should not have defended himself. Who is saying he should not have defended himself? He should have got busted in the head with a skateboard. Since we got these people in here, I mean, y'all talk to me. Who is saying that Kyle Rittenhouse should not have defended himself? I'm not. Because I know if I have a weapon and I have a mob of people coming at me, it's probably going to be a problem. I might not shoot them to kill them, but I'm going to bust some people in their kneecaps. It will be some kneecap busting. This guy's laughing at me. I'm just saying. But the fact that he was untrained, the fact that he did not have the mental capacity or the experience to deal with a mob of people, for that very fact, those adults that were around him, those police officers that were around him, those first responders should have said, go home. This ain't your fight. You can come back in the morning, you can clean up glass, you can paint buildings, you can help first aid, but you should not be here now. You are a child. How come we not having that discussion? How come that's too tough to have? We've made this about black and white. We got black people telling other black people, why y'all care? Y'all black. This wasn't y'all fight. Who cares about white people killing white? What? What? Who cares about white people killing white people, but you say it's not about racism? If we all humans, at what point in time do we gather together and say, hey, I care about what's going on? Because guess what? When that white man kills that white man, suppose he decides, you know what? Because I'm so scared and nervous, I'm gonna spray the crowd. Now this white man who tried to kill that white man, because we never addressed the situation, we never cared before, but now a ricochet bullet that hit this innocent person, this innocent black person. Oh, that's when Black Lives Matter gets involved. Oh, late to the party, Black Lives Matter. Oh, I just want to be seen, Black Lives Matter. Always reactive, Black Lives Matter. It's always about slavery, Black Lives Matter. Okay, I got you. For some reason, it's always difficult for us to have a conversation because everybody wants to make it about something. Now, I'm going to respect your perspective. I'm going to respect what you have to say about the situation. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to listen and not to just give you feedback. I'm going to listen to comprehend. And it's so funny because I would think that most Americans would say, yes, he was wrong for leaving his house. His mom didn't give him permission. His dad didn't give him permission. You are a child in someone else's home. You took it upon yourself, premeditated, to say, oh, well, I see police officers down there getting hit with bricks. So if they're hitting police officers with bricks, I want y'all to think about this. If they are hitting police officers in the jaw with bricks, what are they going to do to a 17-year-old kid? What are they going to do? Oh, it's a kid. We can't hit him with a brick. Whoa, it's a kid. Great, I applaud you for wanting to help your community, but that wasn't the time nor the place to do it. Let the first responders, let the people who are trained to actually deal with the mob, let them deal with it. But see, here's the thing, you went down there with your own mob. You had a bunch of men who felt like we can handle this situation. We gonna handle this. We can paint this narrative that, oh, it was about peace offering. It was about first aid. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, you took guns to an alleged riot or rally or whatever you want to call it. You took semi-automatic weapons and bulletproof vests to somewhere where people was breaking glass and throwing bricks. Talking about first aid. Let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask you guys a question. What video showcases Kyle or the people that was with Kyle Rittenhouse giving first aid? What video showcases him cleaning off buildings, him cleaning up glass? What video shows that he was working in the capacity in which he went down there for? What video shows him breaking down after he shot this semi-automatic weapon at this mob of people and he said, I just killed somebody. I just shot somebody. Where is he breaking down at? Where is the remorse at? I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I saw plenty of remorse when he was on the stand. I saw plenty of remorse when they said that all counts zero, he's acquitted for everything. I saw remorse then, but I didn't see no remorse prior to. Why is that? See, when you ask simplistic questions, this is what happens. We try to make it about something else. It's about self-defense. What are you talking about? You're stupid. You're an idiot. You're a coon. You're this. I agree. He should have defended himself. But I also think that he shouldn't have ever been there. I also think that the adults around him should have sent his ass back home. I also think that his mom and his dad should be frustrated and not applauding my son's a hero, because guess what? Your son didn't even have the respect for you to suppose he would have died. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Kyle Rittenhouse would have went down there with his AR-15 and his friends, and he would have died, what do you think his parents would have said? He wasn't going to Iraq. He wasn't going to Afghanistan, right? He wasn't going off to college. What do you think his parents would have said? What do you think they would have said? Do you think they would have thought it was worth it? You think they would have cheered for it? But it's so funny how we send this message that is something that we need to cheer for. When our teenagers don't have enough respect for us as parents to leave our home and to go down there and take matters in their own hand. You're sending this message to America that teenagers, it's okay to grab weapons and go into a place where you know that's hostile without any training. And for you to have someone's life in the balance. You don't want to make it about black and white. Cool. You don't want to make it about racism. Cool. My thought process is, when you get someone of another nationality or another race or another color, and they use the same excuse that I went down there to protect buildings. That was burning down buildings. So I went to the rally and I was armed. Yes, I know I'm not supposed to have this weapon. I know I'm too young to have this weapon, but I wanted to be a hero. Let's listen to this.
Be late. It's worth it to me. Yo, what are you doing? Man, these people can't drive. So, I've been watching a lot of videos, right? I've been watching a lot of videos, and the brainwashing and the stuff that I'm hearing is unreal.
With all due respect, he says if that rapist didn't chase him, none of this would have happened. If Kyle Rittenhouse would have stayed at home, none of this would have happened. I'm not disagreeing with you. Not disagreeing with you. But all of the what ifs. But we take Kyle Rittenhouse responsibility to what he should have done and what he shouldn't have done off the plate. I'm not taking it off the plate. I'm not taking it off the plate. I don't want my teenagers, and I don't want your teenagers to say, well, I'm just going to go down there. Yes, I see bricks being thrown, buildings burning, graffiti, fire. I'm going to go put myself in harm's way. Why ain't America saying, hey, teenagers? No, that's not how you do things. Can we agree to disagree, or can we just agree? That's not how you do things. Because here's what's going to happen. What's going to happen is Kyle Rittenhouse honestly got lucky that no one shot him. That he was not a victim. That while he was shooting his AK whatever, right, someone didn't take him out. He's lucky the police ain't take him out. And I don't think he realizes how lucky he is, because people are too busy applauding his actions versus saying, why were you there in the first place? That's what's blowing my mind. Why were you there in the first? You are not a police officer. You have zero authority over another person. You put yourself in harm's way, grabbed a semi-automatic weapon, armed up with other people as if it was a small militia to go handle who? Black Lives Matter? I mean, as we talk about the details, it does seem a little fishy. It does get into fishy mode. But no one's disagreeing about self-defense. If you got to defend yourself, you defend yourself. But the thought process is, well, how are you defending yourself with a weapon you're not supposed to have legally? I'm waiting for somebody to get in the comments now. How are you defending yourself with a weapon you're not supposed to even have in your possession? No. Hold on. With all what was that? Hold on. I was doing a lot of texting. Hold on. What was it? With all due respect? I need somebody to answer. The weapon was legal. The weapon was brought legally, but it was not his weapon because legally he could not possess that weapon. So I'm not saying the weapon was stolen. We went through the trial. We understand that it was not stolen. It was brought, but legally he could not possess that firearm. How many people disagree with that? So he used a weapon that he should not even have had for self-defense. Incorrect. I'm gonna pause this. CC, please tell me how I'm incorrect. Exactly, Sexy Slim. But if I'm wrong, please show me I'm wrong. I don't care what the judge threw out. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking. I want CC to explain to me how I'm wrong, because I want to find out if you're a troll or if you actually on your shit. Let's talk about it. Let's talk citizen to citizen. Could he walk into a store and purchase that firearm? No. Could he buy that firearm for someone else? No. Was that firearm at his house? No. The firearm was at another house, right, in a whole nother state line that he went and got once he crossed the state line. He didn't bring the weapon over the state line. We know that, right? But once he crossed the state line, he got a weapon that he couldn't legally own. He couldn't legally possess. Cece is real quiet now. Hold on. The law is written to make the weapon, I don't know, is that legal? You said L-E-G-A-K. Is that supposed to be legal? Might be texting too fast. This is what happens. The law is clear. He could legally possess it. If he could legally possess it, why didn't he buy it? Why did he need someone else to buy it at 17 years old? I'm pausing this whole live because I want to get this truth out real quick, whether it's my truth or your truth. If he could legally possess it, then why didn't he buy it? Why would he give someone else the money to purchase it for him? Couldn't buy it, but could possess it. Couldn't buy it, but could possess it. I can go with that. You couldn't buy it, but you could possess it, but you had no real training with it. Real training to use against a mob of people. Cece, where you at? Where you at? You was real vocal. What do you think about what I said? Couldn't buy it, right? But could possess it, but had no real experience or training using it to ward off a mob of people. No training, no life experience, no real authority in regards to how to handle a mob, nothing. CC, don't run. Come on, CC, let's go, CC. I'm built for it. Let's go. CC done got quiet, y'all. I'm stating the facts that he was lawful, not anything else. Well, you're not answering my question. I just asked you a clear question. If he couldn't purchase it, but you saying that it was lawful for him to possess a firearm. So here you go, being untrained with this weapon. Now I want you to walk into this mob of people, and to police them up. And you're saying that makes sense. Teenager, semi-automatic weapon, hostile crowd, here you go. That's not a different point. It's the same point. Here's the thing, me being a 20-year veteran, you know what we don't do? We don't give firearms to people just coming into the military and say, now you're going overseas to fight without any training. We don't do that. So if this kid got this firearm and had no training, what do you think the outcome is going to be? Yeah, I think they're focusing on the legal technicalities. Me personally, it's like this. It's like this. My thought process is, why even put him in that predicament anyway? All of the adults around, why does he have to be the guy holding one of the biggest guns? He's holding one of the biggest guns. Yeah, we're not fussing, we're just discussing. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Not relevant to a self-defense case. I think we're all in agreement that Kyle Rittenhouse had the right to use self-defense. The issue is that, did he have a right to use a weapon that he was not trained on? Did he have a right to be down there with a weapon that he was not trained on? Did he have a right not to tell his parents, oh, I'm thinking about going down to where this riot is, where bricks are being thrown at police officers and buildings and fire, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So here's the thing. If you're irrational in your thought process to say, I'm not going to tell my parents, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to call everybody except my dad to tell him, hey, Dad, I'm going to be in your city. Hey, Mom, I'm about to leave. It's interesting to me because I wonder what his parents would have agreed with it. Would you have agreed with it? Hey, son, hey, daughter, it's okay for you to go down there. It's okay for you to have this semi-automatic rifle. Cece, you still there? Because my thought process, his parents could have prevented the deaths. His parents could have prevented him having to decide a life and death, or to be in a situation where now he has to say, oh, it was self-defense. To me, it's called critical thinking. It's what led up to the situation. And whether it's not illegal, it's a morality issue. And if you don't address the morality issue, then you start letting other people sending the notion out, yeah, okay, if I do the same thing, I'll get off. It's cool. Yeah, I got it, CC, but I don't want you to cop out right now. Now you're saying nobody should have been there, quite honestly. CC, you have a right to protest. Now, do I agree with the rioting and burning down and the looting? Hell no, leave Target and Walmart alone. They ain't do shit to you. And we know that got out of hand. But let's stick to the subject. The subject is, if he shouldn't have, think about it. If his parents would have stopped him, he didn't tell his parents what he was doing for a reason, right? He got with his friends. Everybody had these automatic weapons and bulletproof vests, and they go into a mob of people that are rioting, that are rudely. What exactly, as a 17-year-old kid, do you think you're going to be able to do? Why do you think that you have the authority or the entitlement for someone to listen to you? Can you explain that to me, CC? He had as much legal right to be there as anyone else. Okay. You're making this real easy for me, CC. Check this out. Legal right. I have the legal right to go stand on the streets of Compton at 11 p.m. You think I want to do it? Would you do it? I got the legal right to do it, but is it smart to do? Would a person with common sense deliberately put themselves in harm's way? Because here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go to Compton, right? And I'm just going, I'm dead. I got the legal right to do it. I'm an American citizen. I pay my taxes. And something happens to me. You don't think somebody's going to say, why would your dumb ass go down there if you already know what that situation is? Why would Kyle Rittenhouse leave his safety of his home to get with his friends and basically become armed and dangerous and go into a situation where he is not trained to handle? Can somebody tell me that? He was being an unwise teenager attempting to defend his community from craziness, but he wasn't experienced enough to be there. Exactly. And that is the message that we need to be promoting. Listen, you're not experienced. Don't leave your house. Let the professionals deal with this situation. You're not a professional. You may feel like a professional because you work around them, because you're a cadet, because your dad is this and your mom is that and your uncle is that and your cousin is that, but you're not a professional. Leave it to the professionals. That is the message, CC, that's not being broadcast. You don't have the authority. You don't have the experience, nor do you have the training. Stay your ass in safety. Now, if somebody's breaking into your home, grab your AR, grab your handgun, your shotgun, your slingshot, your BB gun, grab whatever you need to grab. But don't put yourself deliberately in harm's way. That's the message. That's the message. And whether you're black, whether you're white, Hispanic, whatever color you are, the fact of the matter is we all should care about one another. I'm not going to turn the cheek because you're white. Oh, it's just white people. Just black people. Just females. Just kids under the age of 12. Like, once we start turning the other cheek and start putting these inclinations of, well, we ain't got to care if it's this. We ain't got to care if it's that, and that's what I'm hearing. I'm just saying. Let's listen to Kwame Brown and what he had to say.
The brainwashing and the stuff that I'm
spent my whole cup out.
Unreal. So I saw a couple videos. Mr. Skinny, salute to you, cuz. Self-talk, salute to you. And they had Kwame Brown being canceled in the title, and I thought, wow.
That was clickbait, Kwame.
And this is no dig at them. I'm just saying, like, for that to even be a thing, for people to even be mad at me for what I said, is like kind of hilarious to me. Because what I actually said was, hey, stop focusing on the white guy who shot white guys. Focus on the black guy that got shot by white guys, and somehow.
So this is my, again, salute to Kwame Brown, fair use. Yeah, that title that they use, obviously that was clickbait, Kwame. But the fact of the matter is, are we saying that Americans, that citizens, black, white, Hispanic, whatever your color or race is, are we saying that we're not smart enough, or we're not good enough to multitask? We only can focus on one trial at a time. So if Kyle Rittenhouse was a black guy and the Auburn Marbury case was going on, could we then focus on both of them, or should we only focus on the black? That's why I said, I think, you know, I had a conversation with my sister this morning. She said, you know what, Rio, I said, I can tell that you're passionate about, you know what I'm saying, what you're talking about, but some people may not get the message because of certain things that you're saying. And she said, I want to make sure that they get your message because it's very important. And I appreciate that, sis. Thank you. But let me say something to Kwame Brown real quick. And this is with all due respect, right? I don't believe that because Kyle Rittenhouse was a white guy and he shot white people, that it should not affect me, that it should not bother me, because this is what's going to happen. If Kyle Rittenhouse decides to join the military and I become Kyle Rittenhouse's leader, I can't have him go left. I can't have him just doing whatever he wants to do. I can't have him thinking that that's right. So the thought process is, do I worry about the problem at its lowest level, or do I wait for it to be blown up out of control? Well, right now you would say, hey, with the deaths and all that stuff, it's blown up out of control. But for me not to worry about it. Now, maybe what you're saying is, you know, not to be irate about it, not to be crazy about it. And I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. But I think that as citizens, productive American citizens, we should be worrying about what other Americans are doing, especially if there's a case that it may happen in our community. I don't live in the hood anymore. So there's a Kyle Rittenhouse in my neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? So I have to be worried about, hey, what would make someone think that they could do this and it would be okay? What would boost them up? What kind of teenagers do I have that will interact with my teenagers and influence them? We're not going to tell our parents anything. We're just going to go down there and handle this thing. But what if Kyle Rittenhouse didn't come back home? Let's finish.
I'm the sellout? I told y'all down was up and up was down. It's literally down is up and up is down. Now, our community don't normally mess with pedophiles at all. I've heard stories from my brothers and siblings and cousins of what our community does to pedophiles in the correction facilities. But for some reason now, Negroes are caping for a pedophile white boy, a convicted pedophile white boy, over just a regular white boy that had a gun. It's kind of weird now. Joseph Rosenberg, what is his name? Joseph Rosenberg. 11 counts of child molestation. 5 boys. Now, I don't understand how come he ain't still in jail. He's a serial molester. And
Kwame Brown, I totally agree with you. If he is a convicted sex offender, he definitely should be thrown under the jail. I totally agree with you. Here's the part that I don't agree with. I don't agree with the part that if you don't support the verdict of Kyle Rittenhouse, then you are supporting a pedophile. I'm supporting human actions, right? I'm talking about all the way up to it. Now, he just happened to shoot a pedophile, but he could have shot a doctor. He could have shot a lawyer, an astronaut. He could have shot somebody else. And it's almost like because he shot a pedophile, so what? But the thought process is that how we do this? Because now we're saying we're looking at people's criminal records, and if they have a criminal record, if they have some type of faux pas on their background, then we make the actions justifiable. Well, here's the thing: a lot of people throw out this narrative that, you know, if you black, you automatically got a criminal record, right? If you're Asian, you're automatically this. You know, stereotypes follow, you know what I'm saying, colors. I mean, that's just the way it is. So imagine somebody shooting you thinking, oh yeah, I can get away with this because 9 times out of 10, he may have or she may have a criminal record. My thought process is when Kyle Rittenhouse shot, he didn't know he was shooting a pedophile. He didn't know he was shooting a pedophile. He was just shooting some guy that was coming at him, right? So the thought process is, if Kyle Rittenhouse was never there, then Kyle Rittenhouse would have never had to shoot anyone. You know what I'm saying? Not anybody. That body just happened to be Joseph whoever. I'm saying he would have never had to shoot anybody. If some first responder or police officer would have seen this chunky Caucasian boy walking down the street and say, hey, do you got a permit for that? Let me see some ID. Because me personally, I would have wanted to know everybody that was down there, especially that came into my vicinity. But nobody did that. He went unchecked. He went unchecked. And he was allowed to walk around the crowd of people that was already rudely, violent, negative. So I don't understand how we expecting a positive outcome. But to say, okay, well, either you support Kyle or you support a pedophile. To me, it's about human beings. Unless he knew he was a pedophile, then he was just shooting another human being. Again, self-defense, got it. But the fact of the matter is, suppose it wasn't a pedophile, would this conversation be different? Would it be different?
Worried about what happened to a serial molester in the black community? Everybody's shouting that that's white privilege. R. Kelly in there facing the rest of his damn life. They was older than the ages of 9 and 11. This man was molesting boys from the ages of 9 to 11. A serial molester. And he's out. And R. Kelly facing the rest of his life. Yeah, that's white privilege right there. Since everybody gonna throw their opinion out there, my opinion is that's white privilege. Since when do black folks get up in arms and get upset and cry over a pedophile who chasing somebody with a gun and that had a gun? Because what, didn't he allegedly have a gun? Since you want to ask why Kyle Rittenhouse had a gun, why did allegedly Joseph Rosenberg have a gun? Yeah, we're going to skip past all that because the person you like told you to get mad. See, I don't got nobody telling me to get mad. I just know what I know and I see what I see. Why did Joseph Rosenberg allegedly have a gun? Name one of you niggas that'll chase a nigga from your hood that got an AR-15.
Pure pondering, you are making some great statements, and I'm hoping that people really read what you're saying. Harlem Renaissance, I've seen your other comment. Let me see here. He says he shot who attacked him. We can't go back in time. The case was simply about he justified to defend himself. Yeah, I think, I don't know if you've been here the whole time or whatever. I think we all got to that point where he had the right to defend himself. And we can't go back in time, but what we can do right now is make sure that we provide all the details leading up to that particular time so we can prevent other people from following in those actions. What happens is when you say, oh, this guy was a hero, you forget the part where he left his home without his parents' permission. You forget the part where he deliberately put himself in harm's way. You forget the part where he used a semi-automatic weapon that he was not trained on to handle a mob of people that was already showcasing violence. That was real clear. I don't care what level of intellect you're on. That was really clear what I just said. If we don't include the rest of the conversation, people are going to think that's how you handle it. Or the next person looking for attention or trying to get their name in lights and trying to get a little fame. Oh, I can do this and say it was for a good cause. Me and my friends can go down to whatever the next rally, whatever the next Black Lives Matter, KKK, skinhead, whatever, whoever I don't like that's rallying, we can go down there and police them up. And we have every right to do it. And if it's a case of self-defense, well, the thought process is, you're right. Legally, that's what it was about. It wasn't about morality. It wasn't about if he should have been there or not. It was about he was there and he had to defend himself. And unfortunately, there were some casualties, and I get it. But here's the thought process: if that's the case, then why does it matter if he was a pedophile or not? Why does it matter? Because it's almost like he was defending himself against a pedophile. Or was he defending himself against an unknown assailant? But it's almost like we have to make sure that we say, well, all three of the people that got shot, they all was criminals. So what narrative is being painted and why? Not angry mob goes after 17-year-old boy with semi-automatic weapon. Nope. Young boy stands up to angry mob, criminals. You're idolizing this young man for making poor decisions and putting himself in a position where he had to defend himself. And you're thinking that teenagers are going to say, yeah, everything he did made sense. Because it's crazy, because adults think everything he did made sense. Adults are calling him a hero because he shot people with criminal records.
His hand or an M4. Name one of you niggas that'll chase down a nigga with a gun like that. Since it's a military gun, you should know what the fuck it's do. Cause it ain't no military gun. I got two of them. And I ain't never been in the military. Shout out to everybody in the military. So I don't know what the fuck you motherfucker talking about. That ain't no military gun. Hell, you can buy the parts for it online and have your homeboy put it together. So what the fuck? But I just gotta ask. I'm just asking, since everybody want to get so mad all of a sudden, and everybody, the people that talking about they looking to cancel me, they wasn't never rocking with me in the first place. I've been canceled in their eyes. They just needed a reason to rally the troops. That don't make no sense. You gonna cancel me for a white guy shooting white guys and telling you to devote your attention to the white guys that was on the back of a pickup truck. Looked like all the slave movies we saw. That was on the back of a pickup truck, chasing down a black boy, cornering him in, saying he's trapped like a rat. So saying focus on that, because that is more important to me, then I'm wrong. Y'all crazy as hell. Tell me the black folks or the white folks that's putting all these ideas out. Yeah. So I can get on y'all good side. Just tell me who my leader is. Tell me who's supposed to put the thought out there and who I'm supposed to follow. Since all of us gotta be fucking robots. Who's leading the message that we gotta follow? Cause I might as well get that motherfucking cell number so they can go ahead and text me what to think before I talk. Okay? Who is the person that's putting all these narratives out? Who are the people? If it's more than one. Since I got a group think with the black folks, which black folk am I supposed to listen to? Is it the Geechee black folks that's connected to something? Or is it these pastors that's connected to money? Like, who am I supposed to listen to? Somebody send me a text of what I'm supposed to think before I say it. Because I'm tired of everybody getting mad because I got my own goddamn brain that the Lord gave me. And I'm thinking for my damn self. I'm tired of everybody getting mad about an individual's opinion. So many educated motherfuckers getting mad about an opinion. Oh, but that's right. They want to teach theories over facts. So, that makes sense. We got a bunch of dumb some bitches that'll jump to a theory before a fact. So, no wonder opinion holds so much weight. No wonder. No wonder a man's opinion holds so much weight in a group full of fragile theory motherfuckers. Yeah, that's why we teaching these kids theories and what we think, because all we want to do is get on stage and run our goddamn mouth. That's why we teaching theories over facts. That's why we're not teaching trading and coding. That's not why we teaching STEM. And that's not why we pushing the Saginaw STEM. Yeah. We ain't trying to teach these kids a goddamn thing. We trying to program and brainwash them. Get them emotional. Get them worried about theories. Show them a script. The media has turned into love and hip hop. The media are playing out scripts. And Yeah. We the cast members. We the cast members of the New World Hip Hop. The New World Order Hip Hop. That's what this is. All of us are part of the cast members in the Matrix. Cause down is up and up is motherfucking down right now, boy. The shit don't make no sense. You can see shit on video and you'll say a different thing based on the person, based on the sex, based on the color, based on who he identify with, based on what group he's with. The damn same video changes based on your affiliation to a goddamn group. And I'm nervous now because I ain't a part of no group. So goddamn it, what's the strong power group that I gotta join so I can feel safe in America? Shit, I need to join one of these goddamn power packs. Because that's all this shit about. This gangland now, goddamn. This is politician gangland, motherfucker. And they goddamn sick they hounds. They released the hounds like bitch ass niggas that's texting me. I done told you, boy. Stop texting me on Instagram, nigga. Writing me love letters and shit, man. God damn, you got to be the dumbest real nigga I ever seen in my life. Nigga, you keep writing me love letters, telling me where you coming and going. You's a dumb son bitch, boy. Stop, man. Just stop. Just go on and do what you gonna do, nigga. I don't want to hear all that goddamn talking, man. God damn, boy. The fuck you trying to do? I ain't never met you yet. You trying to have a text relationship? Do that with them goddamn women, man. I don't want no email pen pal relationship before I meet you, nigga. You say you gonna slap me, nigga. I don't need to keep hearing you say you gonna slap me over text message, man. That's terroristic threat. You scaring the hell out of me, boy. You scaring the living shit out of me, man. Please stop threatening me. I'm waking up sweating and shit, and I'm recording everything, boy. And I done told you my best friend is a cop, a federal agent, and my nephew is the police. And I done told you I ain't no real nigga. So you gonna be no real nigga. I done told you, boy, you better stop playing. You's a dumb son of a bitch, boy. You one stupid motherfucker, boy. I done told you, y'all feminine, fragile ass niggas that sit there and claim that you love black people 1 minute. But when a black person don't agree with you, your next necessary step is to threaten a black man and threaten to harm with violence and take his life and all this other shit. You niggas are worse than white people. So I don't know why you niggas try to act so pro-black. You niggas are worse. You worse than any crack.
Let me stop it right there. Kwame going in. He turned my live into something else. Turn my live into something else, Kwame. I think people should be allowed to have an opinion. I think people should be allowed to give their perspective and not be threatened with being canceled or disrespected. I think we all bring a value to the conversation that needs to be explored from time to time, depending on what's going on. I think based on our standards and our morals, and the things that we've been through, our life experience, I think we see things in different ways and different lights or whatever case be. I don't want to be the black guy that tells my children, if they're, if it's not black people, then we shouldn't concern ourselves. Or if it's not, this, then we shouldn't concern ourselves. I want my children to be aware of what's going on in America, so that way they can be, they can make sound decisions. They can make intelligent decisions or whatever case be. The Kyle Rittenhouse situation is unfortunate for all involved, not just Kyle Rittenhouse or the victims, but for all involved. And I believe that though the trial was about self-defense, and if the self-defense was warranted, the jury decided it was. My thought process is there is more to the conversation than just that particular piece. And that's what I want to make sure that we have dialogue about here on the Tough Love channel. So I'm hoping that you guys understand that. It's not about promoting racism and black versus white. It's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's about looking at the entire picture and then coming up with a perspective, because it may be, hey, this incident you may want to talk to your teenager about it and ask them, how they feel about it, and to encourage them that if a matter comes up and they feel like they have to grab a weapon to handle it, to think through the process. Because here's the thing, everybody might not be as lucky as a Kyle Rittenhouse. And I'm hoping that you, as an American, whether you're a veteran, not a veteran, just a citizen, a productive citizen, a tax-paying citizen, I'm hoping that you guys understand that everybody may not be as lucky as a Kyle Rittenhouse. So you have to talk to your teenager and say, let's exercise some common sense. It's great that you have pride in your community, that you want to defend your community, that you're taking it upon yourself when you feel that you're called to duty. However, once you get weapons involved, you change the narrative of innocent child to a life and death situation. CC, I hope you understand me. I hope you understand me. I appreciate you guys. What questions do you have before I normally just get off? What questions do you have? I see the comments kind of going crazy right now. What questions do you have? I'll try to answer some questions for a couple minutes. Okay, I'm hoping that's a good thing, CC. But I really appreciate you guys and your feedback. I think it helps not only myself and my perspective, but it helps everybody looking at this. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be on here shouting racial slurs and it's us against them and it's them against. Listen, we have some issues in America that we have to overcome, but I haven't met anyone that says America is so bad I'm packing my shit and leaving. They still here. So, I mean, if you're going to complain about America, do something to help solve the problem. I believe us having the tough conversation, and this is not just having a tough conversation because it's white people killing white people. This is having a tough conversation because it's a teenager killing other people, or a teenager feeling like, my thought process is he is doing something that most adults did not do. That's another question. You know, how many other adults that were in that community that didn't go down there and they saw what was going on? So it's so many layers to this conversation of what it can be, but it takes people like yourself, even the trolls, even the people that, you know what I'm saying, from the left wing to the right wing. It takes us to have this conversation. If we ignore it, if we ignore each other, we'll never come to a common ground. We'll always be pointing the finger and deflecting versus having a tough conversation. It's hard. It's difficult to give your opinion because everybody sees it in a different way. Everybody sees it. If I didn't say I totally agree with Kyle defending himself, then it'd be like, well, oh, shit, he's saying he shouldn't have defended himself. I believe he should have defended himself. I think anyone that is in a situation where someone wants to do them harm should defend themselves. My question, now that the trial is over, now that the verdict has been given, should he have been there? And I think everybody's in agreement, no, he shouldn't have been there. Next question, should a teenager that is untrained be wielding a weapon to have to be in a life or death self-defense situation? I think a lot of people agree. Once all the smoke clears, once we stop yelling at each other and pointing the finger, I think we all can agree to certain things, because we don't want our teenager to be on trial for their life. We don't want our teenager to have to dictate whether someone else lives or dies or not. I think we all in agreement to that small part. You're headed in the right direction when you start with the conversation. Thank you, CC. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of your feedback. I really take the time to go back and read all the comments. If there's anything that's wildly disrespectful, I'd probably get rid of it, or my mods get rid of it. But I appreciate for my moderators to allow the conversation to develop. Again, to all the victims and to Kyle Rittenhouse and his family or whatever, I wish them well. I wish you guys well. America is not as bad as people paint it out to be. Racism is not dead. However, everybody's not racist. Get to know people for the content of their character, and don't just judge them because a stereotype told you to judge them. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Mario J. This is Tough Love. Share this video. Let other people hear this video and let them know that we're having a tough conversation, and listen all the way through, and then just give me a real honest perspective of what you think. I appreciate y'all. Salute. Adult up. Peace.